Akira Kizzau, and aspects of a more novel by Mike L. Manders, aka Geekanomicon, copyright 2023, issue number 2, Surprise Return. Above the turmoil in the sewers, Zalia had managed to locate both of the scents that had sparked her urgency. Sitting atop a sign of our candy store, she had witnessed an event of pure joy. Gertrude had returned after being missing for a month. The totem of Mourn was one among many. She was silent, but her actions had always seemed to speak volumes. Humanity's last stand had surrounded an access point into the sewer district. Zalia had not been certain what the humans were waiting for, but a couple of them were more than a little trigger-shy. The initial shot had parted the air, had been to clear away civilians. The second had been at a pigeon that had dropped a significant present on the human's uniform. Before Zalia had been able to creep close enough to hear what they might say to one another, she heard a familiar bleat from down the street. To the humans, it seemed funny that each of them had turned their weapons to take aim at the totem. After all, to them, Gertrude was merely a llama. The light brown hair that covered Gertrude gave her an unusual glow in the streetlights. A mop of brown hair set her apart from most of her kind. At this point, Zalia thought about letting her sister and Kizzau know what was going on, but before she could tap her earpiece, Gertrude charged the humans. "It's her," one of the humans said, taking aim with his gun. "Whoever bags the totem gets bragging rights for a month. This one is supposed to be one of the toughest. Be ready." A glob of mucus knocked the human onto his back, his gun flying in the air. Multiple shots fired, all missing their mark. Zalia had to act fast to get the weapon away from the troublesome group. She also needed to ensure one remained present and conscious for a police mystic to force a vocal truth through him. 12 humans had been present at the beginning of the skirmish, but after Gertrude's initial charge, only half of them remained standing. 2 had been forced to the side, while another had succumbed to her potent globs of spit. The remaining victims of the llama's onrush were rolling on the ground, clutching their heads after receiving headbutts from Gertrude. Stifling a giggle, Zalia pursued a human making a run for it, easily tripping him up. The human turned to look at her and rolled his eyes. "We were told you would be distracted tonight. We covered our bases, though. Good luck taking our boss down." "Boss?" Zalia asked, lifting the human up to growl in his face. "What makes you think I can be intimidated?" She gave the human a wolfish growl, showing him her very sharp teeth. Shrugging, she grabbed the man by the back of the shirt and began hauling him to the street where they had run from moments before. The other humans were trying to surround Gertrude or pick up weapons, most of which were covered in llama spit. One of the humans was barking orders to the other, hurriedly. Zalia threw her captive into him and watched the boss fold over in surprise. "Watch it, you idiot," he said before noting Zalia's arrival. "Hi," Zalia said, waving at the lanky human. "We have files on you and your kin," the man said, adjusting into an evident martial arts pose. "I have mastered more than one martial arts form. Our simulations have me beating you in seconds." He motioned for her to step forward in a hybrid crouch stance. Zalia tried not to chuckle. There was a plan forming in her mind, but the mirth was beginning to take over. Walking over to the human, she folded her arms behind her back. "Where did you run these simulations?" She avoided what she surmised was an overhead chop. "I mean, there are things about telegraphing moves you should really brush up on. That first one is easy to avoid." Another flurry of combined chops, fists, and kicks tried to make contact with her. Each time, she saw a tell in his movements before any could make any form of contact. She had hoped the scenario would go in slow motion like the movies, but nothing like that happened. Her instincts and decades of experience made the human's lack of skill obvious. "Stop moving out of the way," he yelled at her. He was trying not to fall over. Instead of a solid stance, he was merely shuffling in place. "Okay," Salia said. "I will stand in one place and give you one chance to hit me. It won't matter, though. The police are already arriving. All of you are going to be placed in confinement until we can determine what is going on." The human made a quick forward jab with his right hand. It had almost made contact, but halted inches from her face. He looked surprised, but Salia wasn't. Gertrude had come up behind the human to lift him up by the back of his shirt. "No fair!" Salia burst into laughter as she tapped her calm. "Sis, I think you and Kizzau better get up here. I found Gertie." And with that, I'll see you more later for more of issue number 2. See you in the near future. Thank you for listening.